Balance, character creation, or narrative? That's what we're talking about today. Hey, what's up guys? It is I'm Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I want to talk to you about today is a poll that I posted based on my most recent video that went up last week. And it was just a little conversation that I was having with people in the comment section. And I decided to make a poll about it. Though limited in spec, it did have a couple hundred votes. So I just wanted to go over that right now. I asked, what do you prefer in Soulcalibur and what are you looking for in 7? And I said battle mechanics, character creation, narrative / story, or other. So what happened is battle mechanics came in with 28%, character creation came in with 39%, narrative / story came in at 29%, and other came in at 4%. Now, of course, a poll this size is not indicative of the entire community. This is just an overall basis, and there are reasons why I do believe this poll somewhat, but I'm going to get into that, and I'm also going to read a couple of the comments that were left on that poll, just so we can get a well-rounded view of the kind of things that people are thinking about when it comes to this subject, and I'm going to give you my thoughts as well. So I'm going to give you my thoughts at the end of the video, but for right now we're going to start reading some of the comments. I just picked out a few. I didn't get to everybody just because for sake of longevity of this video. So thank you for commenting. I appreciate it, and I hope you do so in the future. So Winds of Chaos says, I prefer a little bit of everything, good gameplay, entertaining story mode, and of course character creation. So it's the of course in that I actually think exemplifies what he voted for. Dreger Schwarzwallian, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, even though I have of German descent, I cannot read that. All of the above, good gameplay that's not frustrating, a story that keeps on giving, character creation with endless potential. And then Sephiroth 7 says, I definitely want all of the above, like a couple stated above, but I definitely mainly enjoy the character creator much more. So there seems to be a theme here. And I'm not just picking the ones that were just solely for character creation, by the way. I actually did just pick like the first, I think, like 5 comments that were on that and put them here, which is weird because when the poll first launched, battle mechanics and gameplay were like winning, which is what I thought would have won. But anyway, let's just get into this last comment and then I'll give you my thoughts. MH Nova says, character creation is the reason I have twice the amount of hours put into Soulcalibur than any other fighting game, and it's the only thing I really look forward to with future titles. It's something I can do as a form of downtime while still immersing myself in the game. Best form of single player content hands down. In my honest opinion, if other stuff around create a character like Chronicles and Libra of Souls were more refined, and the game put more resources into taking advantage of them and presenting them better, it would give Soulcalibur far more of its own niche to stand out more that people will flock to compared to other fighters in the market, casuals especially. A straight up fighting game RPG. It'd be unique and it'd get more people into buying Soulcalibur, no problem. That alone would give tons of replayability by the sheer amount of customization and types of characters people will put in. Also, I'm hoping that in future titles, create a character will straight up free up its pieces for use. I am really getting sick of the game telling me I can't equip breastplate A because of scarf B and pants C don't work with them because of whatever reason. On top of the lack of being able to resize certain pieces that they actually fit on the body of the character. So those problems are things that I've actually talked about in the past, but what I want to go over right now is just like my thoughts and where I was surprised in the poll and where I was not so surprised in the poll. So while again, I don't think this is indicative of the entire community, this is just at least a baseline of people that responded to the poll, because not everyone that responded is actually a subscriber of mine. Polls are posted on the community tab, they're not posted on my videos, just so I can get a wider range of diverse answers, but people actually participating in the poll so that I don't just have like, you know, my nuanced bubble of like memberships and things like that and just straight up answering. The thing that confused me the most is, at the end of the day, Soulcalibur is a fighting game. So I thought that balance, game mechanics, you know, stuff like that would actually win. But then, like, I started to think about it, and I'm like, why do I play Soulcalibur personally, and what sets it apart? Yeah, for Soul Edge and Soul Blade and Soulcalibur 1 and Soulcalibur 2, it was because there weren't many weapon-based fighters around. And I loved the fluidity of gameplay, similar to how fluid like something like Dead or Alive is or something, for example. There's a lot of range of motion, especially with the 8-way run, and even before the 8-way run was included, there was a lot of sidestepping and just a diverse array of defensive maneuvers that you can actually take to avoid damage and then go on a counteroffensive. That's what got me into it, and especially like the array of characters that they first introduced, because a lot of fighting games tend to typically start their fighting game franchises with very bland characters, almost archetypes of what you would expect to see in like something like that. But when it comes to Soulcalibur, we had such a offset group of cast of characters. Like we had like Lizard Man in like the first game, Rock, you know, just characters like that, like legacy characters that were like very odd choices that you would have design wise to have the mainstay of your fighting game. Now, Soulcalibur has always been niche in comparison to the other big fighters. I think it is still one of the top dogs, but it is definitely at the bottom of that list just because of the sheer number of sales, like the outreach that those games have. And we've talked about these things in the past, how the directors have changed with every single game and the teams constantly being shuffled around and stopped and restarted. There's constantly new directions with it, so you never get an actual feel for the overall series like you would with something like Street Fighter, because 1 is different from 2, and 2 is different from 3, 3 is different from 4, 4 is different from 5, and so on and so forth. I feel like it's hard to get a constant player base that comes with you to every single game, and we kind of people that jump on for a certain aspect or reason or another, and people that leave for certain aspects or reasons or another. Most recently, I know a lot of people did not enjoy Reversal Edge in this game. So what I wanted to say about that is that the reason that I did start playing it for initial battle play reasons, but then when they introduced Soulcalibur 3, they gave us the most expansive single player that we've had in a Soulcalibur game up to that point. The whole Chronicles of the Sword mode, where not only do you create your main character and you go on an adventure with that character, interacting with characters from Soulcalibur, but you interact with new OCs that are created for that mode that have, some of them have returned in 6, and you get to customize every one of them, and you have your own like little army and story. It was just something, a mode that like I loved and I kept replaying over and over and over again. Character creation wasn't at its peak at that point, but it was still good enough that you can come up with some fun stuff. I don't know if it was at the point yet of being able to create like already existing properties. You'd have to kind of finagle your way around and be really, really creative, because it was the most bare bones of the character creations, unless you're counting the PSP title, which was just a watered down version of, I believe, 4. But character creation really did keep me in the game. Creating a whole bunch of new characters and so on and so forth, even with titles that I didn't necessarily like. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Soulcalibur 4 or Soulcalibur 5 for various reasons. I know a lot of people love both of those. I love Towers in Soulcalibur 4. I love the endless battle and the character creation system in 5, but they're not my favorite games narrating or for what they did with the story. But other than that, I still had hundreds and hundreds of hours in both of those games, even though when friends would still come over at the time and be like, hey, let's play Soulcalibur 5, I'd be like, I'll show off my creations, but I'd much rather play like Soulcalibur 3 or Soulcalibur 2 at that point. That was just a personal thing for me, but I think this taps into the root of somewhat of this poll. Character creation is the only thing that stays consistent throughout the series. It's the only consistency that you can bring, because the battle mechanics and everything and the story and narrative and characters change with every iteration of the game. So the only thing that we have that's consistent wise is this this mode, and it is what sets it apart from other fighting games. You can really let your creativity shine, and even if you don't feel like playing online or doing online matches, once you finish the story, there's never going to be an endless like finish to that, because you're constantly creating new characters. And with the additional 50 spaces that they gave us built on from 5, it really gives people a wider avenue to be able to be creative, especially with the extra 100 slots that we get just for customizing main story cast, because you can still create characters within that too. They just have like, I think they can't change their voice and certain aspects of their face, but a lot of that just tends to go into The consistency argument that I've seen brought up before, the reason that a lot of people pick their favorite Soulcaliburs. Honestly, some people that choose their favorite Soulcalibur do so off of, like, favoritism. Like, I hear Soulcalibur 2 come up, like, all the time. Like, how Soulcalibur 2 is, like, the best Soulcalibur, and it may possibly well be. I know it also had its own share of issues and problems, and it's not my favorite, but I still enjoy playing it. But I mean, it's not, like, nobody likes console exclusive stuff. Even with the HD remake version, you're not getting Link, because Soulcalibur will probably never be on a Nintendo system again. But, I don't know. I just thought this was an interesting poll, and it really kind of surprised me where the direction of it went, because I certainly thought that people were going to say battle mechanics and balance and game systems and things of that nature. But now it's time for you guys to turn over and let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. Not only what you thought about this video, but what would have you chosen if you had voted for, and which answer do you think should have won out, and give me reasons why, while trying to be respectful of other people. And any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below. And as I always say, guys, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.